Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly after this holiday shutdown that we have. I'm your host, James.
I'm Ryan. Welcome back.
And and today we are covering the Norway trial that's going on. And before we get into the intro, I wanted to read to you a little snippet here about the background of why this is happening to bring us up to date to where we're at today. So, to start off with here, in a significant legal showdown, the Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway are engaged in a court battle against the Norwegian state. The religious group's national registration has been revoked and state funds withheld, a move that has stirred controversy and heightened concerns about religious freedom in Europe. The trial, which began on January 8th, 2024, seeks to ascertain whether the practices of Jehovah's Witnesses violate Norway's Religious Communities Act or infringe upon their rights to freedom of religion and association, as per the European Convention of Human Rights. What's at the root of this controversy? Originating from the decision of Norway's county governor of Oslo and Viken in January 2022, the dispute revolves around the denial of state grants to the Jehovah's Witnesses due to apprehensions about their exclusionary practices. These practices include disfellowshipping members who commit serious sins or choose to disassociate from the group, have led to the withholding of state grants. In response, the Jehovah's Witnesses contend that their practices are in line with biblical teachings and they do not involve policing personal associations. So, what are the implications of the legal battle? The Norwegian Ministry for Children and Families upheld the decision to deny grants in September 2022. By December, the Jehovah's Witnesses were stripped of their national registration, impacting their ability to perform marriages and access government grants. Consequently, the religious group filed lawsuits against the state. These lawsuits have been consolidated and have sparked reports of increased vandalism and harassment against the Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway. And as you viewers know, we have been reporting on all these things. So finally, this is a pivotal case for religious freedom. This case is being closely watched as it could set a precedent for religious freedom in Norway. It has raised questions about the extent to which the state can intervene in religious practices and has implications for the broader European context. While the state maintains that the practices of Jehovah's Witnesses can expose children to psychological violence, the religious group argues that there is no evidence of harm, that interpretation of religious texts is not the state's jurisdiction. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and roll the show's intro, and we're going to get into discussing this very topic. All right. So, again, welcome back, everybody. I had to give that background context because it's been a few weeks since we've actually had our, complete live show going on here, So, and, hope everybody had a wonderful holiday and New Year. Let me get this out first because, I didn't get to catch up with y'all. So, glad to see you all back here this morning. Good morning, Mom and Dad. Judge, welcome to the show. Judge Flem's in the chat, everybody, has been going to this trial personally. He wasn't able to make it today because the weather is very bad over there with the snow and everything. So stay safe, stay warm over there, please. But this is something that is huge, and the implications, like that article brought out, are going to be further reaching than just the Jehovah's Witnesses as far as religious freedoms in the country. But really, is it really freedom if you're using your freedoms to harm others?
No, that's not freedom.
No.
That's extortion.
Exactly. So I think a country should have the freedom to prosecute and try these
Hmm.
religions that are trying to take advantage of their members.
Nobody's above the law.
No.
And even though the Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization, excuse me, feels as though they should be above the law, they are not. And they wanted their day in court. Well, they're going to get it. And I kind of feel like maybe it was a terrible idea for them to bring this
Oh
to court.
yeah. Oh gosh, yes. I
The
mean,
hubris of it all just kind of cracks me up to think like you could have let this slip under the radar and not let people, the whole world realize like what you're doing, these exclusionary practices that are having children's rights revoked. This, I mean, we're talking about you revoking children's rights. That
yeah,
is the
I
influence of
know.
this. Oh my gosh, the
Well,
snowball effect from
I,
this.
I mean, if you just take our country for example, the legal adult age is 18, right?
Mhm.
So, with that being said, you're not allowed to vote. You can't, well, heck, you can't buy alcohol yet till you're 21 in
Right,
most states. You
smoking.
know, you can't enter into contracts. You can't go into other legal agreements. You
Mhm.
can't do so many things until you're 18 years of age or older in this country. And yet, you're as a Jehovah Witness child being raised, you're supposed to be able to make lifelong adult decisions when you're 6 or 7 years old.
No.
Get
Hell,
out of here.
hell no.
Get the
Now
hell out of here.
exactly. Now that doesn't mean that you don't talk to your child, you don't have open discussions with your child about, like, the truths. Like, I think that children deserve, some things aren't meant for them, obviously, but we
Well, yeah.
have to have tough conversations with our children. We don't have to baby them, but we're corralling them into this tiny little narrative of where they're allowed to lead their lives. And that for me is a problem. When all sources point to got to get baptized, and 6-year-olds think that this is what they're supposed to do to prove that they love Jehovah and make their parents proud. They're going to do it.
Yeah,
But the repercussions are like you said, they're going to last for the rest of their lives and they don't even understand the decision they're making.
exactly. Exactly. Because, I mean, I remember when we were still in, just before we left, my kids were asking us if they could get baptized. Now,
Were they?
they were
Oof.
not the only talking to them later, the only reason why was because they thought that would make us happy, not because they
See?
actually understood what it was all about and what the implications were,
That is the only reason I got baptized.
you know?
Yep.
So that right there shows you, I mean, they were under 13 years of age, but still, it's ridiculous.
Mhm. It truly is. Yes, and I think Jokic? Is that the name? Jokic? Jokic? I
Jocket.
apologize if that's not what it was meant to be. I apologize.
Ray.
Um, where's the powder? Where's the cream? Other countries probably better positioned to deal with the JW org than America. I do agree.
Yep.
America has deified Trump and white nationalism on the rise, fear mongering. Exactly. I don't. Sadly, the country of freedom and rights. It's the same as the Jehovah's Witnesses. How they say that their members have freedom and rights. It's just all in the words. It's not in action. It's not truth, and it's very similar for
Oh, and
country.
real quick, a little side note. I want to give a shout out to my parents for this one of a kind channel merch
Oh
that they got
yes,
for me
your
for
hat.
Christmas.
That was
So
awesome.
thank
Thank
you, mom
you.
and dad. This is the first show I've got to wear it on. So and I remembered. So here it is. This was
I forgot.
their
It's right there
Christmas
on your
present.
head.
I know. It's like I can't quite find it.
Right.
It's
What
like the
was that I
person who
wanted
puts
to
their
talk
glasses on
about?
their head and they can't find them.
Yeah, that's me. I hold them in my hand. Where's my glasses? Where's my
Yeah.
glasses? No, but that hat is really dope. Thank you, mom and dad. That's awesome.
So we need to get Ryan one of these hats.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to make my own or something. I'll make a what are those hats that have the brim, the wide brim? They're like beach hats. I don't know. Anyway, for the
Uh,
shade.
A cowboy hat?
Sure.
Sombrero?
Yeah, sombrero.
Get out
I'm gonna
here.
get a sombrero. Yes, that's right. And I'm gonna nap under that thing after we do this show. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Especially in the summertime when it's hot out.
Mm-hmm. See, that's why siestas are good. America just
Right.
doesn't know what they're missing out on.
No,
Work,
they
work,
don't.
work, 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 work. It's not a way to live.
That's right, Sam. A bucket hat, so that way you can
That's
make
it. A bucket hat.
bucket list.
A bucket hat. That's exactly what it was, Sam. Thank you. He knew.
So, anyways, let's go ahead and get back to the show and the topic of the day. How about that?
Back to this dreary topic. No, actually,
Yes.
this is exciting. This is exciting as hell. Like, I'm so thankful for all the whistleblowers. Like, y'all are doing it.
Yes.
They're going through hell right now. This
Yes.
must be an emotional roller coaster and so draining to have to listen to that rhetoric, like to have to listen to these lawyers of the Jehovah's Witnesses like vomit out this diatribe. I don't know how they're doing it, but thank you so much.
Yes. And actually, in preparation for today's show, I made a list of people that I wanted to give a shout out to for all their
list.
hard work behind the scenes, because some of them are constantly posting on Twitter/X the updates for this trial. Others are part of this trial and have been up on the witness stand giving their testimony.
Right.
So
Yes.
I'm gonna read off this list of names, and if any of you who are on this list hear your name and I mess it up completely, I apologize in advance, because some of them are just not names that I've ever heard before.
They're not
So
American?
Please forgive me. They're not common in my cultural
Tongue.
background.
Right, exactly.
So first of all, Larchwood from Twitter,
Yes.
Ron Pomo,
Yep.
Miss Usato, who has been writing the article
Writing
on
all the
avoidjw.org.
brilliant, perfect.
Great article.
Yes.
I've read the whole thing.
Love
good
it.
read. Anybody who hasn't read it, the
Do
links are all in the description for these articles in every channel's description. Then Jan Frode Nielsen. He
Love
is
you,
one
Jan.
of the ones at the trial.
We love
This
Jan.
one's an awesome one because he's an ex-CEO who got kicked out, and because he wrote a book about the organization, and he got kicked out by the governing body because of it. Rolf Ferrulli. So
Come on,
thank you, Rolf. And
Big
then
ups.
we got Hild Langvan,
Thank you, Hild.
Therese, Numi
Therese.
Pilot,
Numi.
Maria Stenhaug, and
Yes, Maria.
Raquel Lima Mountainwood. So
We love you too, Raquel.
thank you all so much for the contributions you've made to this
Yeah.
community, to this trial, especially for those of you who've been getting up on the witness stand, giving your personal testimonies. You are so brave. You are so loved.
Ugh.
Thank you for everything you do and being willing to put yourself out there like that.
That's difficult to tell your personal story of how you were affected, and you're trying to convince these people that you're a human being that deserves to be heard, and the Jehovah's Witness organization just wants to shut it all down. You know what you were signing up for?
And that's one of the biggest things they do is try to shut you down. And one of their tactics they used that we were talking about before the show is the WatchTower organization was literally trying to have their literature not be used as evidence in this trial.
Like, are you kidding me?
Like,
How?
seriously.
How is that even? Like, I don't even know where you would get the cojones to think that your literature that proves how important it is to get baptized, the shunning policy, the blood, and you don't want it shown. Are you? I don't even know what to say about that.
It'd be like if you go to a murder trial and you have the weapon that the murderer used, and the lawyer goes, "You know what, Your Honor? I think we should
can't use that knife
gun as the evidence that clearly shows the ballistics. It's the right bullet hole. Yada yada yada. But let's dismiss this and not even use it as part of the evidence for the trial." That's what they're doing.
Like, where do they do that at?
Like, who the
Whoa.
hell do you think you are to try to ask a court to not use
No
evidence in a
evidence.
trial?
No evidence, please.
I
Thank
mean, come
you.
on.
Just believe
That is,
me. Why can't you just believe me, James, that I'm telling the truth? I'm
I'm
just a big
telling the truth.
organization. I'm just a
Poor
big
me.
organization and I'm getting so much persecution.
Yeah,
It's
no
really hard
kidding.
being me and being rich and being
Yeah,
white.
yeah. And being American.
And poor me. Ugh.
But I mean, the audacity these assholes have to try to even pull that is just incredible.
Right. And we need to present facts. Like it's not just like of course it is about our stories and about what's happened to us and what we've lived through our lived experiences. But we also do need to present the facts as to why we did these behaviors. Why did I get baptized? Why did I decide not to get blood? Whatever it is, and that is in the evidence that we get from the Jehovah's Witness organization, all their propaganda, their literature. We have to, and the videos. Like, thank freaking God they presented this stuff.
And see, here's the reason why the lawyer wanted the literature to not be used. This is what really gets me. He says, because it was due to the interpretations, i.e., the interpretations
Yeah.
of the state, that they didn't want the literature to be used. Because here's what they wanted to do. They wanted to control the narrative of what they say happens when somebody disfellowshipped or this or whatnot. But they did not want their own literature to damn them and show just the opposite. That's what that really is all about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're just hiding because they
And
know what they're doing.
and this is also another trial. I mean, the first time we had it was in the Australian Royal Commission. This is another trial where they're actually bringing up the Elders Manual as part of their evidence as well. So,
Mm.
for any witnesses, current witnesses out there that may happen to come upon this show, that Elders Manual is a real book. I have a copy of my dad's old one in my bookshelf right now. It's a real book. It's a book that anybody who's not an elder is not allowed to see. And they have rules that you have to follow that are written in that book that you're not allowed to see. So if you don't think the cards aren't stacked against you, you got another thing coming,
Oof.
because they are.
Yep. 100%. It's the stuff that you don't know that's going on behind the scenes. Yeah, and it's theocratic warfare, it's spiritual warfare. It's stuff that I didn't even realize that they were allowed to do. But I'm realizing that most religions have like this fail safe where like if it comes to it, they are allowed to do anything to protect the organization, even if that's lying, whatever. Like when it comes to war, all rules are off.
Oh yeah,
And this is war
absolutely.
for them. This is a war for them, even though it's really not, but it's how they
But I
perceive
mean,
it.
oh, what was it gonna? So we were going to talk about the disfellowshipping policy a little bit,
Mhm.
and you know how it applies to anybody who's baptized. The disfellowshipping, and even those who never got baptized and left the religion and talk about it are even shunned as
Mhm.
well as the disfellowship ones. But you wanted to show the video, that Caleb and Sophia video.
Oh, yeah. Do you wanna watch that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play that, because this is a video they show to kids to try to encourage them to get baptized into the religion.
Right. Okay, so it's almost 2 minutes, so it's not very long. Let me know if you can hear it, okay?
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Wow, that looks like me. I have a question.
What is it, my dear?
How do you get baptized?
That's a good question.
That's a great
And
question.
an important one.
Mom looks so young in this picture.
Hey,
Yes, you can be young, like your mother. What matters is that you love Jehovah. and want to follow Jesus' teachings closely.
You can show that you want to get baptized by what you do.
When did Jesus teach about shunning?
Learn about Jehovah by reading the Bible. That will help you obey Jehovah
Oh
Celeste
God,
and
and
I got out
avoid
of the
wizards.
things
Greatest
that
Man's
Jehovah
book.
hates,
Then you'll want to share your faith with others
especially in the ministry.
and at the meetings. Make friends with others who love Jehovah.
That's right,
And
Doc.
most importantly,
Barlock, Doc.
tell Jehovah in prayer that you want to serve him forever.
That's why we get baptized in public. It shows others that we've dedicated our lives to Jehovah.
That's so cool.
Would you like to get baptized one day?
Why don't you learn a little more about the steps for baptism and share it with us at family worship?
Ugh.
Okay.
Ugh.
Why don't you
Got
learn
it.
a little more about the steps of manipulation and how we
Yeah.
can apply those at family worship? Because that's all that is.
Oh my goodness. She was young there. The mom was very young in that picture.
Yeah.
She looked just about the age of Sophia. I don't know how old is Sophia? Is she like
I-
9 or
I-
something?
I don't really know. I want to say I'm kind of guessing between like 11 and 12.
You think? Okay.
That's
Something
I'm
over
thinking
10, just over 10,
something
basically.
just over 10, and I think Caleb's like 8 or 9.
Okay, so maybe he's the 8 or 9 and she's like 11, 12-ish.
Yeah.
To start contemplating dedicating the entirety of your life to an organization, not to Jehovah. This is not dedicating your life to Jehovah.
Oh,
What
no.
people might think. This is to an
Well-
organization, and you have to go door to door, just like they said.
If
Make it
you read
public.
the new baptismal questions they have, they totally took Jehovah out of the picture.
Wait, say again?
They revised their baptismal questions a few years ago,
Okay.
and they have Jehovah out of the picture.
Oh.
It's dedicating to the organization, not to Jehovah.
Wow. Well, that doesn't shock me because it really that is what it is.
If anybody in the comments knows where that's at, please tell me, because I don't know where that's at off the top of my head, but I remember them doing that.
But that I wonder how that went over in the courtroom watching that.
Oh yeah.
Like what
Can you
people
imagine
felt.
the people in there that were never witnesses, like the judge and the lawyers and what other personnel was in there watching
Mhm.
that, going, what the hell?
And it might seem like, okay, like if I've never heard anything about Jehovah's Witnesses and I watch that video, it kind of seems harmless. It doesn't, there might not be any negative connotation to any of that. You want to get baptized. A lot of people do baptisms, right? Catholics do baptism. Mormons, I'm sure, do some sort of baptism. But it's it's everything that goes along with it that's just not understood. Yeah, you don't know what is entailed. You don't understand the
No.
repercussions of making a bad decision at the age of 11 if you're getting baptized. That could completely change the course of your life.
Well, even people, like, say there is somebody who is brought in from door knocking, right, to the religion. You are still not told everything about the religion that you get baptized into.
No. And that's
'Cause-
the farsity. That's the shit that pisses me off. I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into. I didn't realize the
No.
background of this organization and the shit they're pulling.
No. You just get this, flowers and daisies story.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Faye.
Go
What?
have a beer and wash it down.
Yeah, but get that down your neck.
But you only get the good stuff, and you never know the other side of the story, because if you're raised in it, you're not allowed to learn the other side of the story. And
Mhm.
if you're manipulated properly by the person knocking on your door, you're not going to look at the other side of the story either. So it really is all manipulation all the way around.
And you make that decision as a child to again, appease your parents because you love them so much. And there are only a few means to get that kind of like gratitude and acceptance from them.
Mm-hmm.
And baptism is a huge thing. Like, it's, at least for me and my friends, it was made into like a big deal. Like, we gave gifts, like we had a little gathering and things of that nature. So it was like, you know how people have like quinceañera, almost for Jehovah's Witness, at least in my, and again, this is just in the congregations that I was at, because every congregation is different. That's kind of how it was treated. It was like this big deal that you were getting
Oh yeah.
baptized.
Oh yeah. Because I remember the area I grew up in. One of the big things they always did after somebody got baptized, they took them out to a real nice dinner afterwards. And then back in my day, we would get
Back
they
in the
would
day.
the big gift that everybody would give would be the Bible rebounded with the reasoning book.
I almost choked. I remember people giving gifts of the gold foil Bible. Do you remember the Bible with like the gold foil on the sides? It just looked really cool.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you could get like your name imprinted in the gold foil and stuff like that.
Yes.
I remember those being big gifts.
We're old now.
Oh my
We're going
God. I
way
don't
back.
even know if they do that anymore. Do they even have Bibles? It's probably on their iPads and their phones and stuff.
Well, I mean, I was at the assembly where they handed out the Silver Sword hard copies of that one. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay. Well.
So as of then, yes. I don't know about now.
Anyway, I don't know where we were going with the whole the
Yes, Jonathan.
baptism.
You could get maroon or black. I like the maroon one better.
I remember the maroon color. I kind of wish I kept my Bible. I had a couple of them, and I do wish that I kept them just so I have them. But
anyway, so really, so what we're showing here is that the Watchtower lawyer here, Ristall, is really trying to set the narrative up for their organization rather than letting the other side have their say. Of course, it's a court case. They're going to get their say, and they did get their say. So that is what is really the
they always
key
feel like
takeaway
being
here.
picked on. Oh, our literature is going to be interpreted. Oh, no. Duh, bro. Like, duh.
See,
Your shit's going to be interpreted.
One of the big things too that Norway was getting at was how these practices of excommunication and shunning goes against the rights of a child. Now, if you look at what the European Court of Human Rights says in Article 19, and I copied and pasted this. I have the link in the description for this as well. I'm going to read what Article 19 says about the rights that children have in Europe.
Okay.
It says, and there's two parts here. First part, state parties shall take all appropriate legislative, administrative, social, and educational measures to protect the child from all forms of physical or mental violence, injury or abuse, neglect or negligent treatment, maltreatment or exploitation, including sexual abuse, while in the care of parent/parents, legal guardian/guardians, or any other person who has the care of the child. Part 2. Such protective measures should, as appropriate, include effective procedures for the establishment of social programs to provide necessary support for the child and for those who have the care of the child, as well as other forms of prevention and for identification, reporting, referral, investigation, treatment, and follow-up of instances of child maltreatment described heretofore, and, as appropriate, for judicial involvement.
They ain't playing around.
No, they're not. They really set the stage for children to be protected here.
Where's the rights for fucking kids here? I mean, anyway, digress.
But I mean, if you go to the witness organization, we're talking about children getting baptized. Okay. Now that child, say they're 9 years old when they get baptized. They finally hit puberty and they start going, oh, wow, the opposite sex is looking really good to me. And the other person of the opposite sex goes, wow, you're looking really good to me too. Hey, let's get together. Let's do stuff. You know,
Mhm.
in those raging teenage hormones,
Mother Nature.
let's say they didn't even have sex. Let's just say they did a little touching and kissing.
Heavy
Heavy
petting.
petting. Yes. Here, I'm gonna traumatize everybody. I'm gonna use the P word. Pornea.
Oh my God, not the pornea. Oh, that's like the word that would send shivers down my back when we would do the young people ass book and we'd have to talk about masturbation and shit. Like, I want to die. Pornea.
Well, if ever you're having trouble with masturbation, the governing body can help you beat it.
Oh, I bet you they could. I bet you they could. Oh, brother.
As well as Michael Jackson.
A heavy petting zoo is where the animals pet you back.
Yes. But think about it though. Okay, so you're a kid that gets involved in that, right? Now you get disfellowship for it, right? So you're kicked out of the congregation, and when you go to a meeting when you're disfellowshipped, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to come in right as it starts, go in the back room, don't talk to nobody. Yes, we need to get to this story as well because this is making some traction. But we'll probably get into this in the following weeks, Nelly. But this Norway one was just so big and so much to talk about that we wanted to cover a whole show with it. And it's still going.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more next week on this as well. So
this is going to be a continuation. It started in 2019. Why not be in 2024? Why the hell not?
So, hey, Melody. But yeah, we will get to that. I promise you. So, but now you're just fellowshipped. You can't talk to your friends. You can't talk to anybody in the congregation. You know, I'm trying to sneeze here, but it's not coming.
That's what she said. That didn't even make any sense, but it's okay.
I know where your dirty mind was going with that, but you know, anyways, I digress. But you know, now they have no social contact. They're not even, if they have friends that are disfellowshipped with them, they're not even supposed to talk to their disfellowshipped friends. So tell me how they're not isolating these children from their community when these things happen. Tell me how they're not doing that. And right there in the Charter for Human Rights here, you know, those things cause neglect. They cause psychological and mental violence, as they term it here. And really, for those reasons alone, the witnesses absolutely should lose their right as a religion in all the European countries, have to pay taxes, have to do better on whatever reportings they got to do as a result of this, take the punishments. And if they don't like it, change your damn rules, because none of it's in the Bible anyways, you idiots.
And what is frustrating is that I think they're trying to present that life kind of continues on even if you are excluded, that not much really changes. You can still associate with people. Give me a break. That is absolutely not, at least not for me. That's not how it went when I was disfellowshipped. I wasn't still associating with people.
The only reason they can say that is because they have where elders are the only ones who are allowed to talk to the disfellowship person. And usually it's just one elder that does it.
Fucking shady. That's fucking shady.
Yeah, I know. But usually it's only like one elder assigned to do that out of the 3 committee elders to, you know, occasionally check in on the person. And that's it. It's not like they go and have a conversation. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? So tell me all about what's your life is like.
Nobody checked.
It's nothing like that.
That did not happen. Nobody checked in on me. That was not. And again,
Well,
like I understand completely that it's going to be different for everybody because as much as we like to think that it's a universal kind of like rules and policies, it's not. But that was not the case for me. I was excluded from everything. Thankfully, my family did not shun me, but stuff did change. It did change.
yeah. So,
Till like till 2075. That's funny.
oh man. Let's see. In 2075, I'll be, what was
Oh
that?
God, I'll be 100.
93.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it to there, guys. I'll try for you. I'll try,
We'll,
but
we'll try. We'll try to stay alive till 2075.
just for you, I'm going to.
Or you know what? We can go and stay alive till 25. You know, I mean that was
Hopefully,
another
I'll
one.
make it past 25. Oh, brother.
So,
Um,
anyways,
yeah.
so much
So
to go
Rizdale,
through.
like that dude. I Does anybody know his background? Like, is he a Jehovah's Witness? I wish I had more time to research. Maybe by next week I'll have that answer, but I'm just curious.
Well, according to what I saw, it just says he's the Jehovah's Witness lawyer, and then they had another law firm that had another group of lawyers that was representing the Watchtower with him. So I'm
Mm,
kind of assuming because of the way that was put, he is a witness
okay.
consulting with this firm to have a panel of lawyers. So if you think about it, Watchtower is using dedicated funds to try to pay for their rights to shun and ostracize children in Norway.
Interesting. All your donations, you think it's going to help people, but it's really just going to help Jehovah's Witnesses get money in court.
Oh, and that was another point of the trial too, though. They were trying to say how they get voluntary contributions and all that, and how they use it for disaster relief and foreign aid and yada yada yada. When again, they're just lying so much. It's ridiculous. Well,
Prove it. They should have to prove that in court and bring the papers that prove where their money goes. They won't.
yeah. And not only, and when they show this, it should not just be, oh yes, we helped our own people. No, you should show that you also help others in the community besides your own people.
Isn't that the purpose of being able to receive the subsidies, is that you are helping the community. You're giving
Yeah.
back to the community. That's what it's supposed to be. Now the Jehovah's Witnesses consider knocking on people's doors, giving back to the community, which is just
You know, even
uh,
as a witness, I had a hard time wrapping my head around that one.
we're doing it for free,
Yeah.
but you're making money off of it. And what are you doing with that money, honey? Because I'd love to know, because I just filled up my gas tank so I could drive around this stupid neighborhood and knock on people's doors. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. And the people in the car didn't give me no gas money to help me out either.
That must have been the worst, like when you will always be the driver and nobody would offer like money.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you were a pioneer,
Really? When
you know?
the funds are hard to come by in the first place.
You know what, Aaron? Hello, Aaron. I've never seen your face here, so welcome. Yes, that is an excellent question. Excellent question. If
nothing
nothing
changes,
changes and life goes on after being DF'd, why even DF people?
if it's not a big deal, if it doesn't really do anything,
Yeah.
how about just
So,
give people the option to associate with who they feel they want to associate with? There's always that. You could just not
yeah.
be in people's business.
Well, they'll tell you that normal family relations continue and all that, but like, you know, I'm sorry, when I had my older brother was disfellowshipped for a period of time when I was younger. Normal family relations did not ensue, even though he still lived at home with us. We didn't talk to him like we usually did or anything.
Mhm.
So, you know, nothing like that happened. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that, buddy. Everybody, yes, please hit the like button.
Hit that like.
We
Hit that
greatly would
like.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
getting this out to the YouTube algorithms. But anyway,
Yeah, we need to get this in front of people who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. So the more people who know to stay away from that religion, the better. Just don't open the door.
yeah. Well, we also have to bring up real quick too that there were people that gave testimony at this trial that were
There are Jehovah's Witnesses.
no, that not Jehovah's Witnesses, actual other I'm trying to find it here real quick. Expert testimony from outside.
Oh yeah, they
On
had
the-
a human rights expert.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Hadi Stamen. And he was able to kind of go through like the allegations of the negative social control, and the violations that the organization's rules and guidelines perpetuates.
Yes.
That was
Here it is.
awesome.
Human rights professor, jurisprudence at Oxford University College, Hadi Stroman Lyle came to the stand.
Hadi.
So
Thank you, Hadi.
But
JW's testified too. Like they had JWs testify, current JWs,
yes.
and say like the shunning wasn't that bad and it was
Oh,
their
yeah.
fault. Like it was so
Yeah.
weird because they're saying like, oh, they deserve to be shunned and the brothers didn't want to shun me, but I chose it.
Well, and then the witnesses will also try to say that when somebody disassociates or gets disfellowship, that person chose to shun them and that they're not the ones that are doing it.
Right.
So they constantly try to blame the victims for everything and get everybody to say, oh, poor JWs, you're so persecuted, you're so abused. No, you're not. You're the ones doing this. Because I guarantee you that anybody right now who is not a Jehovah's Witness, that has family that are Jehovah's Witnesses, would love to have a conversation with their family and see how things are going and just have normal conversation. Don't even worry about the religion. We don't care. Just how you doing? How's life? What are you up to?
Right. I really think that what Aaron said is if disfellowshipping doesn't change anything, then what is the purpose of it? And it comes down to control. They know that they can control people with these scare tactics. It's fear mongering. And it really is like spiritual warfare, but they're doing it against their own people to keep them in line.
Yeah.
And I am thankful that there are human rights experts out there who see it for what it is.
Hey, good night, Nelly. Thank you for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. All the way from the other side of the world. That's awesome,
Right?
to have you here. So thank you.
Under.
Down under.
Down under. That's not a knife.
That's so stereotypical. How dare you?
Oh gosh. Aussie. It's Australian for beer, mate. Sorry you had to listen to my terrible accent. My
now,
apologies.
What we really need to do is have a real Australian come on here and correct you.
Yeah, I'm like, oh girl, you sound terrible.
And I know some people. I could message him and ask him.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And just so everybody knows, we've said this before at the top of the show, but if you want to take a look at the summary on Avoid JW, they've summarized everything perfectly. There's also a Reddit post that I believe Larchwood started that will take you. I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
He's been posting it on Reddit and on Twitter as well.
Yes.
So.
You know what? Give me a second. I just want to share.
And also, Jan from the trial has been on Larchwood's post as well, constantly giving updates as well as he goes along. So you are literally going to get live updates, on their notes that they're taking and watching at this trial if you follow those accounts.
Yes. So please do. I'm sure they would appreciate it. I'm just going to show their faces real quick because I just want to give them a shout out since they're doing such a
Yes.
big thing here. So there's Rolf, Hild, Therese, Jan, and Numi. So we want to say hats off to you. And then, of course, like you said, to everybody like Ron and Larchwood, etc., who's keeping us up to date with that stuff. So y'all are awesome. Y'all are heroes, quite frankly, if you ask me. That's heroic stuff.
Yes, it is. It's brave, especially for the victims that are standing up
Very
and speaking out
brave.
against the organization.
You're not just telling people in a room, like this is national news. Like you're telling everybody your personal
Well, right now,
story.
this is international news.
Internet. That's what I meant. International news. This is a big deal.
And we're going to, like I said, we're going to keep covering this. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here for the day because I need to get my happy behind in bed because it's, my time to go to bed as well, just like Nellie's was. So, but thank you everybody for joining us back. A lot to cover here. This first show back from the year. We will be following this and other stories to come, like was brought up for the, was it the Spanish Association in Spain?
Yeah. I talked a little bit about it last week, but not much.
Yeah. But we're going to continue to cover that and everything else that comes up as well. But please, everybody, like Sam said earlier, please hit those like buttons and don't forget to subscribe and share these to get them into all the YouTube algorithms. Also, we still do have the Buy Me a Coffee. If you feel generous, the links are in the description of every channel as well.
We need to buy Jan a coffee. Jan and Numi and Therese and everybody. We need to buy them a coffee.
we need
I wonder if there's a way we can do something for them.
That would be an idea. Maybe we could try to reach out to them on Twitter or something. See what we can do.
I think I mean Jan. I've talked to Jan before. Because
I'm sure that a lot of people would love to thank them for their help and their dedication to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're taking time off work. This isn't like free labor. You know what I mean? This is not only taking them away from their normal daily tasks, but it's just taxing on your emotions to go through. I mean, it's probably exciting, in some ways, but I'm sure it's also just very laborious.
I know Jan has been behind the scenes trying to make this happen for years as well. So, he's really put a lot of time and effort into it. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, that's all I got for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will be back again next week at the same time and same channel. So, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always,
a passe your way, baby.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful week. And
Love
we will
you.
see
Bye.
you next week. Bye.
Bye.